everyone, it's Libby from maighstirtarot. I'd like to acknowledge the Warramai First Nations people, the traditional custodians of the lands on which these videos are made, and welcome to you, your guides, my guides, and the universal energies. Right, they've just told me to use a different deck, so I'll put those ones back and grab one of my different decks over here. So thank you for joining me. Entertainment only. In regards to my last video on the economy, I'm just going to say that I am not a professional financial advisor. This is just entertainment only. Please seek your own financial advice if required. Okay, what I want to have a look at in this particular reading, and I'm using my mystical manga cards, M-A-N-G-A. This came across my desk this morning and really, actually last night and again this morning, and has really caught my attention. So apparently Cash Patel, who on earth have we heard that name before, head of FBI, was spotted in Wellington, New Zealand yesterday. It was a secret visit until he was outed. Someone had spotted him, spotted the plane on the tarmac, and then I believe spotted him in the car park underneath Parliament House, also known as the Beehive in Wellington, New Zealand. If you want to know why it's the Beehive, look up New Zealand Parliament House. It looks like a beehive. Okay, what I want to have a look at though is apparently he was in New Zealand with undertaking discussions about increasing the size of the FBI headquarters in New Zealand, in Wellington. Now, there is an FBI office in Wellington. Wellington is the capital, that was established in 2017. Wonder who was president and whose regime was president then too. So established in 2017 in Wellington. And they're claiming, well, they're sort of kind of not claiming, talk about skirting around the words, to counter the Chinese Communist Party's reach in the Pacific. Patel was forced to make a public media statement because he'd been sprung, and he was ranting on about how important Five Eyes is and all the rest of it. So I just want to have a look about what's going on in with this increased FBI office in New Zealand. The New Zealand government at the moment is led by a coalition that is led by Chris Luxton. Oh, poor old Winston Peters, he's still in there, still plugging away, wagging the dog, the tail wagging the dog. It's very much like in Australia, we have our Liberal National Party. The National Party gets about 3% of the votes, but they are the ones that, if the Liberal National Party is going to get into power, they are the ones that get that party over the line. And it means that 3% of the votes can dictate to the rest of the country what they want. So Winston Peters is pretty much like that in New Zealand as well. Way back to the days, gosh, I'm going back nearly 4 decades now, when I used to live in New Zealand. He was floating around then as well. Okay, so what I want to have a look, apparently the opposition leader has basically said, and we have strong oppositions in our countries, in our Westminster system democracies. Part of it is keeping the opposition leader up to date on what's happening. Well, she, I'm not quite sure who it was taken completely by surprise and is now demanding an update on what the heck is happening. So I just want to have a look. I've got some feels about it now. Chris Luxton, the leader of the coalition, I say he's a Scott Morrison protege. Scott Morrison was the Prime Minister in Australia at one stage there, who was a Trump sycophant back during the COVID wildfires period. During the first Felon 45, or should I call him the Cotton Candy Coxwomble period. That's the Scottish in me coming out. Let's have a look. So Luxton is conservative. He's showing his true colours now that he's been elected. He's not. So basically, this fell out. The Six of Pentacles. It's very much about the, let me bend over this barrel for you, felon 45 regime is what I'm getting from that. It's almost like pittance handouts, crumbs off the table, but somebody's doing quite nicely here. Somebody's feathering their nest out of this. Now, entertainment only. Allegedly, someone might have gotten a bit of a financial kickback, perhaps, with this unexpected out of left field Page of Cups big announcement that came forward with that Ace of Wands. So, I mean, why do it secretively? Let's have a look. So, because I suspect in Australia, we have a very, our government at the moment, our Labor government is what's considered a progressive government. They're doing their darndest at the moment, trying to clean up decades of mess from our conservative government, that our conservative government left behind, and any try and shift in direction of governments like trying to turn the Titanic. But let's have a look. And I suspect because our government is not playing ball, playing intelligence ball with the orange twerps regime. It's my feels. So tell me, is that my feels? Is that right? Is Patel turning to New Zealand because the Australian government has basically said our spy agencies aren't for sale? Okay, let's have a look. Eight of Pentacles, hard work going on behind the scenes, but also financial, potentially financial hard work, money trails. They are claiming out that it's all about trafficking and laundering. Oh, goodness me, they're the worst at it. But this is very much work going on behind the scenes. Okay, challenged by that Six of Pentacles again. Won't say it's vote flipping or anything along those lines. It feels like somebody's getting a kickback. I'm just going to say allegedly, entertainment only. Crumbs off the table, that sort of feels. That's the challenge. At the foundation, the eyes shut, thigh deep in the swamp, arms crossed protectively, and the two swords of truth there. So it's got that feeling of la, 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 ignoring, self-protection, thigh deep, finding oneself thigh deep in the swamp. This is not good energy for New Zealand. I know I'm putting my bias on it, but I don't think Cash Patel does anything above board. In the past, the dictated my way or the highway. I would say there is an order that came out that you will do this. Now, just as a side note, the New Zealand government has also come out with a legislation that has basically said that they're cutting off the voter registration period from 12 weeks prior to an election. There's a lot of outcry about this because apparently last election, when truth started to come out, 600,000 people registered to vote in that last 12-week period when they realised what the government policy was, the policies were actually about, when they understood. Now, you've got to remember, so that was a 12-week period, or was it 12 days? Might be 12 days, sorry, 12 days before the last election. 12 days, get it right. 600,000 people registered in that last 12 days before the election. You've got to remember that in Australia and New Zealand, and well, they don't have compulsory voting in Australia, so you don't have to register to vote. We do have it in they don't have it in New Zealand. We do have compulsory voting in Australia, which basically means when you turn 18, you get sent a letter saying, please register. And 99% of people do register, which means you do have to vote, 99% of people. And in New Zealand, they don't have compulsory, so it's voluntary to register. In that last 12 days, 600,000 people out of a population, is it up about 4 to 5 million people in New Zealand nowadays? I've lost track of their total population. So it's very possibly sort of one 1/4 to 1/6 of the population, entire population, not just eligible voting population, registered to vote in that last 12 days. In Australia and New Zealand, we don't have these 2-year election cycles that they have in the US. We have 8 weeks in Australia. Basically, the government declares that in 8 weeks from this date, we are going to have the election, right? The election cycle starts. 8 weeks. So, there's a lot of uproar about this not registering to vote. I'm sort of on the fence because my attitude is you should be bloody registered anyhow. But, circumstances change. But also, people get a bit complacent, and if they move or they change names or something happens, then they haven't updated their details, they fall off the roll until such a time as they go, hang on, I want to vote in this one. So there's a lot of controversy happening there. But I'm asking about the establishment of a full FBI headquarters in New Zealand. So let's keep going. Okay, we've got the Sun card here, exposure. Something's getting exposed, something's getting the light shone on it. And to be honest, why sneak into town if what you're doing is something legit? So the energy over what is happening here, spotlight's on it. Absolutely. Spotlight. The FBI or what? The spotlight is being shone on this. What appears to have been attempted to have been done underhandedly. Scratch our back and we'll give you a few crumbs. You're going to find yourself thigh deep in this swamp, but shut your eyes and just keep going. That sort of, an order coming down from upon high. The immediate future, we've got it's the nine of wands, which is usually the dude with his back up against the wall with the bandage over his head. But that's not the energy from this card. This card is very much standing on that wall with a fiery message. So the checks and boundaries that are in place, the safeguards that are in place, somebody's standing on that wall and making a really fiery declaration of defense here. I don't think they want the FBI in town. Externally, the world, especially remembering that Ukraine did not tell the US that they were going to do that drone attack that was 18 months in the planning for obvious reasons, that turned out to be obvious reasons. We've got the World card here, a chapter coming to an end, a door opening and another door closing. Could also mean the 5 eyes, could mean the ending of the 5 eyes. So let's see where this goes. Internally, secrets being revealed. Again, thigh deep in the swamp. There's something that feels not right about this. Aside from the fact that me personally, I feel that they've gone to New Zealand for this because they don't trust Australia and they don't trust Australia's connections with China because we've got very strong trade connections with China. They are our biggest trading partner, but they don't trust our progressive government. And I think our progressive government has very probably told them, no, you are not taking control of our intelligence agencies. ASIO, the Australian Intelligence Service, investigated and told the FBI back in the 1980s to deny the Orange Twerp a casino license because of his Russian connections. Back in the 1980s, so 40 years ago. Our intelligence agency, who will not be owned by any other, basically told the Orange Twerp to get lost. Interestingly enough, the New Zealand Judith Collins. Now, I had to chuckle at this. They were listing who Patel met. Judith Collins, the Minister for Spy Agencies. Like, what? So they had the Minister of Foreign Affairs and they had the Minister of this department and Minister of that department. Judith Collins, the Minister for Spy Agencies. Did they make that up yesterday? That's the feeling I got. Did they make that position up yesterday? I'm pretty sure that Australia's got something like the Minister of Intelligence Agencies or something like that, because it's not only ASIO that we've got, but the Minister for Spy Agencies. Sounded like somebody pulled that out of the hat yesterday. Hopes and fears, the Ace of Cups, new partnerships, that's what they're hoping. The fear is that the emotion of it is not going to go down well. You've got here the Hermit, can be the isolating. It can be the investigation going on in the swamp, lighting the lantern to expose those in the swamp, trying to find a path forward. But I'm just getting isolation. Okay, thank you. The Wheel of Fortune turning, something turning, and the Queen of Coins. She's my is it Director of National Intelligence? Who's that? That's Tulsi Gabbard. No, Gnome with Homeland Security. Thank you. Gnome with Homeland Security. Doesn't half look like Gnome too. And then the King of Coins. The financed oligarchs. Page of Swords. A whistleblower bringing out some truth there about who's scratching who's back with that Three of Cups. Information coming in from overseas. I'm getting a bit of a weird hit on this, because what I'm getting, so we've got the King of Coins and then the Ten of Swords, the stabbing in the back. Sorry, the King of Wands and then the Ten of Swords. Because the King of Coins is over here. I'm getting, and this is going to sound really rabbit holey bizarre, is this to spy on Australia? Are they setting up? Is the FBI setting up this office to spy on Australia? So I really get the feeling they don't trust Australia and they don't trust our government, because our government isn't bowing down and kissing the golden sneaker. And we hold like Australia's just passed legislation or is passing legislation to ban under 16-year-olds from being on social media unless under like opening an account. I mean, there'll be ways around it, but so they can use their parents' YouTube, or the school can use YouTube, etc., but they can't open their own accounts, which I'm sure is going over like a lead balloon with the oligarchs in the US. They're not happy. Australia's also talking about putting a 10% tax on money made in Australia by these big conglomerates like Google and Facebook and Amazon, because at the moment they make billions out of Australia but pay absolutely no tax. Is it to spy on Australia or something? Well, there's that Ten of Swords. Stabbing in the back, betraying. Right, challenged by not liking what is being asked of them. I don't think the New Zealanders are going to like what is going to be asked of them. And that is to stab Australia in the back. Betray Australia. That's what I'm getting. The foundation, the energy that we're stewing in at the moment is the hanged man. Something being stopped, seen differently and stopped, not progressing forward. In the past, the nightmare situation, I'm just really getting that it's to spy on Australia or to undermine Australia, or because whoever is in this regime and whoever is puppet masters backing this regime don't like the global community orientated outlook of Australia. Like we punch above our weight significantly on the world stage in terms of leadership. The US tried to, the regime, I'm not saying you guys, the US regime tried to prevent the decommissioned Australian Abrams tanks being delivered to Ukraine, delayed them by about 18 months. They're there now, but they did everything within their power. They were on their way. They were nearly there. The new regime got in and halted them. And they sat there and sat there and sat there and sat there and sat there. But the tanks have now been delivered. Australia forced it through. So I think we're being a bit of a thorn in the side of the US with our global outlook, our community outlook, our positioning in the world, our stance. Like we've also come out and said, as part of 20-something countries have said, or nearly 30 have said, we support a separate Palestinian country, state, and just holding Israel to account. I think we're being a bit of a thorn in the side here. There's going to be a lot of information that comes out about the setting up of this office, because we've also got investigative journalists in these two countries, Australia and New Zealand, that investigate. They don't just go, oh, okay, and move on to the next question. They actually investigate. I think there's going to be uncontrolled information that comes out about this that the US regime will not be able to control, and the New Zealand government won't be able to control. We have a real kinship between our two countries. We might give each other the absolute bollocksing. I'm just trying to think how to politely say that. We might absolutely butt of the jokes of each other. We might just absolutely give each other heaps, but we've got each other's back. We're like siblings. Big brother, little brother. We are siblings like that when it comes to the crunch. We call New Zealand, we call them the East Islands, they call us West Island. New Zealand, when there was federation, were invited to become part of Australia as an independent state of Australia. They said, yeah, nah, we're good. And they remained kept their own independence, but they call us West Island because they've got North Island, South Island, Stewart Island, and there's Australia, West Island. You know, when push comes to shove, we're like that. I don't think the US understands the US regime. The regime that's in at the moment, I do not think that they understand the undercurrent of loyalty between the two countries. the immediate future, the star of hope and healing. As this Knight of Swords comes forward externally with the brutal truth, and you've got then internally new action being taken, new leadership coming forward. Luxon might lose his position over this. If it is found out, he might lose his position. This is also the best of democracy here. This is new leadership coming forward. Hopes and fears, the Fool. Will they be foolish or will they not be on a new journey? Okay, forced to retreat with that Four of Swords as the outcome, and then you've got the Ace of Swords, and then you've got the Ace of Coins. I am going to say I think the US regime has underestimated the relationship between Australia and New Zealand, or New Zealand and Australia. We will proudly be West Island if that's what you need of us. Coming together, unity with that Ten of Cups. Right, let's have a look. Is this action going to lead to the downfall of, I think it's Chris Luxon, is that his name? The short, round, bald guy. Is this action, this agreement, going to be the downfall of Luxon? Mercenary actions, and they're not going to like what they're being asked. They're going to be asked to take mercenary actions. And those who work within this office, and they ain't going to like it. So let's have a look. Is this going to be, oh, and then you've got whistleblowers, circles of support, secrets coming out, being fully illuminated about potentially a money deal, being forced to walk away, the investigation into this Emperor, and I'm seeing this card again. Was glimpsing out at me. The coming, oh God, working together, complete and utter downfall, manipulation from overseas, and I don't think this is, okay. I suspect that's a yes. New partnerships. This new partnership, I think, is going to be his downfall. I'm just going to leave it there. My guides are telling me, leave it there. I think when the truth of behind this, whatever agreement Luxon has made, entertainment only, I don't see it ending well for him. I don't think the people of New Zealand will put up with it. And what I'm getting is that they are going to be asked to spy on us across the ditch. Love you, cousins. Stick by us. We'll look after you. Catch you shortly.